This is the installation of new officers, and I was elected first vice president when we first went national as a fraternity. In fact, Phi Kappa Sigma was the very first fraternity on campus after the school was established to be nationally affiliated. I was 17 when I graduated from McGill, and I had a big decision to make. Went off on active duty, came back, and made the decision to go to South Alabama. I took the Treasury Enforcement Agent exam right after I graduated from South, and I was offered a job as a special agent with ATF in Valdosta, Georgia. I took the job, went to Valdosta. I ended up staying about 4.5, 5 months working bootleg whiskey cases and federal firearm cases. And so after my 15 years with the federal government, I resigned and went into the private sector as the security director for Freeport-McMoran. Starting work with Freeport Security with myself and a former FBI agent, we built up the security department where they didn't have one before. In Indonesia, we had a unique situation working and operating the second largest copper and gold mine in the world, and there were three terrorist operations in that area. There was no, what I would refer to as institutions of accountability. There was no rule of law. There were no court systems. We came together in the security department and asked the CEO would he consider appropriating a large sum of money, $40 to $50 million, to build these infrastructures there and to work with the Indonesian Ministry of Interior to put in some judges and some prosecutors. The plans came into play. And for the first time ever, in this part, the most remote part of the 15,000 islands of Indonesia, they had a rule of law.
When we were looking for a second home, we decided that this would be the obvious place.
In those times I worked in Iraq, and I worked in Chile, and I worked in Jordan, and I worked in the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt, and I worked in Indonesia and Australia and Singapore and done a lot of things over there, but I know I can always come back and settle down here and not have to do anything.
Both Joe and I grew up in modest households. We've gotten to do a lot of things in our lives. He'll never forget his roots. He doesn't ever forget where he comes from. You know, he served his country in the military, and he went on to do a good job for the federal government and also in the private sector. And so we're very proud of the award he's getting this evening.
Absolutely no doubt that if it were not for my tenure, my studies, my graduation from South Alabama, and the professors there that I had that opened my eyes up to different opportunities and different fields of endeavor that I could engage in that would meet my goals in life, I wouldn't be where I am today, would not have been able to do the things that I've done. Receiving this award is an unbelievable way to cap off this some 50-year career that I've had.